Welcome to Women in Business Inspiring Stories podcast. My name is Raimonda and I am the founder of the Women in Business community. And today I am joined by Elaine Leen. Hi, Elaine.
Hi.
How
Hi,
are you?
everybody. Hi, lady. I'm great, thank you. I'm great.
I'm really excited to have you here, Elaine. You have been a member of our community for a while, and I am truly fascinated about your story and things that you do. So without further ado, I want to actually read a little introduction about yourself and find out a little bit more about your story. So Elaine Leen is a team fixer. She's a female leadership advocate. She's a certified team and professional ICF coach in female leadership advocate and well known for coaching teams who aim for outstanding team performances. Elaine has been a team leader for over 20 years and team leadership coach for over 5. She has coached a number of service teams, including Richmond Organization, worked with a number of European institutions to train and transform teams. Elaine, welcome to the podcast.
Well, thank you for inviting me. I'm delighted to be here.
I would love to find out a little bit more about your background from yourself.
Well, because I'm a certain age, approaching 60, it would take a long time to go through all my background. But basically, I lived the first 20 years in England. I'm English. And then I moved to France to study, and I've been there ever since. So I suppose you could say I'm bilingual. And I've worked in organizations, corporations since I was 23. I started as a manager, and various things happened to me through all this time. But I've always been passionate about working in teams. It's been a red line through my whole career.
Wow, and you currently do leadership coaching and team coaching.
Yes.
Tell me a little bit more about, because I know personally that you have been in transition from a career into entrepreneurship and from entrepreneurship back into career. So tell me a little bit more about that, because I know a lot of our listeners are in this transition or have gone through this transition or considering it. So I want to find out a little bit more in detail about that.
Well, I've always worked in organizations, as I said, from the age of 23. And when I was 54, I felt the need to go out on my own. I felt that I could maybe learn things that I wasn't learning in the place I was, that I could meet different people, not just people in the corporate side. And so with my company agreeing, and they helped me, I set off on my solo entrepreneur journey. And I remember at the time not being at all afraid, because I had the backup of this company I was working for. And also I already had orders, and but I didn't expect the actual excitement on the one hand and the despair on the other. You know, my life in organizations working for bosses used to be, I'd say, exciting, but not passionate. And as soon as I started working for myself, it became like a big helter-skelter. And I did that for 4 years with some very, very highs and some lows. And luckily I had people around me that when I almost gave up said, well, don't give up, keep on going, persevere. So I did. And I felt like it came a full circle, And the company I'd been working for before said to me, do you want to come back? And I surprised myself by saying yes. So the transition back has been a bit complicated because, you have to find your place, your position in the company. But what I am absolutely delighted about is that I'm doing 100% what I want to do. So it's been an interesting journey, and I don't think my company truthfully would have invited me back if I hadn't gone through these 4 years of proving to myself and to them probably that I was capable of finding customers, earning my own salary, designing programs, coaching teams, I mean, that's why they asked me back, because they wanted what I developed as skills.
Wow, unbelievable. That is such a unique story because a lot of women, trying to escape full-time jobs or corporate jobs and move into entrepreneurship. But you have gone the full circle and now
Mm,
um, team leadership as a coaching, in essence, is still your full-time job, but it's also your side hustle that you still do.
mm, mm.
How do you create a balance between the two and, still being able to manage the two sides of the coin?
Well, I'm still trying to find the balance, because I've been with my company again just since, well, for a month now. So I need to get into the rhythm of what's expected from me. I travel. So up till now, it's been 2 or 3 days a week where I'm not actually at home. I'm traveling to the customer, whether it be, I mean, last week or the week before, I was in Rabat in Morocco. So my plan is to allocate 1 or 2 evenings a week to be able to coach people on an individual level. And if ever they want some teamwork doing, my company agrees for me to bring those people into the performance side of things. Performance is a company that I work for.
Yeah.
So for individual private coaching, then I can do that in the evenings or at weekends. And if a client wants me to go into their office and help them with their team, coaching their team, then I'm sure we could come to an arrangement with my employer, who was very flexible.
Yeah. And it's so refreshing to actually hear that your employer is flexible and understanding and
Mm.
wanted you back for those reasons, isn't it?
They're fantastic to work for. They really, I mean, my employer is an editor of psychometric tests. So we work with developing talents and people's uniqueness. That's what our job is, to try and detect and tap into people's potential. So, we say in France that the shoemakers aren't the ones that wear the best shoes. But, this expression. But in fact, the company I work for, Performance, they actually do take care of their people. And they don't just say it, they do. They do take care of their people.
So refreshing. And I love
Mm,
what you do, and so, so important that the fact that your organization also, walks the talk. Whatever they teach,
mm,
what they
mm.
sell is what they do within the company. So, so important.
I've spoken to some entrepreneurs who have said to me quite recently, I could never go back to working for somebody else, because they're independent, they love the freedom, they love being able to make their own decisions. And I'm actually coaching somebody at the moment who's an entrepreneur who's struggling, who said, I can't go back to work for somebody else. And I said, well, what you're looking for, you could possibly find if you're looking for the right company. It's all a case of, can you work with your passion, no matter what status you have, whether you're an entrepreneur, whether you're working for a company, it's doing what you want to do.
Yeah, absolutely. I love how you put it, and just such a valuable um, bit of information to actually, you can do it. You just have to find the right place for you.
That's right. Yeah.
I want to find out a little bit more about the psychometric tests that you use in coaching. Why are they important, and why do you use it?
The very first time I myself took a psychometric test, I was blown over by the accuracy of how it described my personality and my behavioral patterns. And it was a very quick test. It lasted 10 minutes, and this report was produced. And I had an interview with somebody who could actually pinpoint my strengths and my weaknesses. And when I became a coach, well, in some coaching organizations and circles, people are reluctant to use psychometric tests, because they say, it's putting people into boxes. It's it's maybe reinforcing their own self knowledge. And I think it's a combination of science and art. You know, you have the science of the test and the art of the coaching. And so it helps me to move the person I'm coaching along quicker. Because we've got a report that's, you know, pinpointing certain things, and we discuss them, and they can disagree, and you know, we don't. It's a tool. It's not, you know, it's not the ultimate truth. It's a tool. It's one facet, and we work on that, and it saves time. So that's what I enjoy about it, is that it's a tool for discussion, and it saves time. So saving time means saving money.
Yeah, absolutely. So tell me more about the team coaching that you do as well. I'm really keen to find out more.
Well, basically, the members of the team will take a psychometric test. We put all the results together, and, you know, I show the team their results and say, this is how the team behaves. And it's probably the very first time they've actually thought about how the team behaves, because a lot of teams today, what they do is they're working on an activity, and as soon as that mission, activity, task is finished, then they're off running after the next one, and sometimes they have multiple projects going along, and they very rarely take time out, a break, to say, well, actually, how do we work together? Are we being efficient in the way that we work together? What do we want? Is there anything we need to adjust? So when I start, it's with this diagnostic, in fact, and they look at each other and say, oh yeah, that's us. Oh, okay. So they can, it's putting the words behind what they're feeling, you know, and it's taking time out for themselves to readjust. Like people do in sport, you know, sport teams, football, rugby, they're always looking at the match afterwards. They're looking at the replay, and the trainer is there saying, you know, when you did this, when you passed that ball to him, then maybe you should have given it to that one there, and next time think about this. Whereas in companies, we just don't take the time to do that. We don't take the time to look at what I call the interreactions between the people, and the consequences and the sequences between people.
So what makes a good team?
Trust. That's the basic ingredient. Knowing that whatever you do, your team members have your back. You know, they will support you. They will. Trust is a major component. So it's, you know, the confidence in the fact that your team will do their best. Also, psychological safety, which is part of the trust thing. Knowing that you can make mistakes, and you'll be accepted. Yeah. What makes and then I suppose when you have the small wins, that encourages you to go further together. Now, a team is never really constantly performing. You know, a team, even a high-performing team, sometimes performs less, and that's part of the process. You know, it's not we start here and we go there. It can be like a circular thing. So when there's setbacks, discuss them. It's communication, it's trust, it's even what we call team cognition, which is the fact that you work together and you instinctively know. You know, you don't have to talk to people anymore. You just look at them and you've clicked, and you know what the other person's thinking. And
Yeah.
I love to see that happen.
I love that. I love when there is a good team dynamics, and you know, it's pretty difficult to create a perfect team, but what you can do is actually nurture everyone into becoming the perfect team together. Not necessarily.
That's right. What we say is a team of experts doesn't make an expert team. You know, individually, people can be very good in their job, and putting them together doesn't necessarily make a team that's good in its job. You know, they have to learn to work together, to adapt, to adjust.
Yeah. So what makes a good leader?
Somebody who's authentic. So again, we're using the psychometric tests that we use. It's looking at the strengths of the person and how to use those to adapt to the situation, to adapt to the people. Leadership has gone under, I'd say that there's been models of leadership since the beginning of time, and we're coming away from the more directive leadership style to a more what we call servant leadership style, where the leader is there with a purpose of developing its team members. I'd say a good leader can be measured by the fact that when they're away on holiday, for example, that the team just carries on as usual. In fact, a good leader is one that you don't notice, because the team manages, you know.
Oh, really, really powerful. And it really reflected for me personally because I have recently taken a holiday, and for the first
Good.
time, for the very first time, I empowered my team to run with it for a week.
Great. And how did they do?
And they were fantastic. I remember when I came back from holiday, I don't usually work on Mondays. And on a Monday, one of my team members sent me a message and said, "We're just going to for a team meeting. We'll update you later." It's like I was not invited to it. Fantastic.
There you go. You're doing well.
Yeah, it's very exciting. So I want to ask you if someone is thinking about hiring a team, especially entrepreneurs as they're growing, and as entrepreneurs, we have this tendency to hold on to things, hold on to control, and sometimes very difficult to take that first step in hiring even virtual assistant or just some help and support around a business. How does one go about finding the right team around them?
Well, apart from the technical side of things, obviously you'll be looking for specific tasks to be done, I imagine, whether it's the virtual assistant or whether it's somebody in whatever communication. Ideally, if it's not somebody if it's somebody you're bringing onto your team, then it would be to look at their personality styles, because we actually recruit people that are like us. 4 out of 5 times we'll connect easily to somebody who's just like we are, with personality types and styles, and that can be a good thing, because it means that we can quickly get on with each other. But it's also maybe counterproductive, because then our strengths will be doubled and our weaknesses will be doubled. So, for example, if somebody doesn't particularly like doing administrative tasks, and they recruit somebody else who doesn't like doing administrative tasks without actually discussing, the administrative tasks, then you're going to have 2 people who don't like doing the administrative tasks. So there are behavioral patterns that we can detect that will show what the person's preferences are for tasks, missions, projects, and so on. So that's what I would look at.
Oh, I love that.
And try and get as much diversity and complementarity in the team as possible.
That is such a good advice, for anyone expanding a team or just starting out in business, because we have many women just starting out in business. And I want to get your take in terms of what would you say to someone just starting out in business right now? Obviously, you've been in business and managing teams and doing so much in your career. What would you say to someone just starting out?
I would say it's important to invest in the people who are going to help you. I also believe that you do need people to help you when you set out, because it's such a lot to do on your own. And talk to people who've already been there, done that. And it may seem expensive at the beginning, because you're not yet earning a proper salary. You're worried about where your money is going to come from. But all the investments I made paid off. The very first time, when I set out, I actually recruited somebody to help me with setting out. That was her job. She helped people to start businesses. And that helped me save lots of money, because she knew contacts who could do things, I didn't have to spend time to find the right accountant, to find the right person who's going to do my website, community, and so on. Invest may seem, you know, some people might say work hard. Some people might say get plenty of rest. I'd say invest.
Yeah, yeah. It seems counterintuitive when you don't have that much
Yes,
money to
yeah,
spare at
yeah,
the beginning. But as you
yeah.
say, it's so essential because it's actually going to save you money.
That's right. That's right. That's right. And surround yourself with people who know, who've been there and done that. You know.
Yeah. So you became a member of the Women in Business community earlier last year,
Mm.
and I want to find out a little bit more about your experience as a member, and obviously you participated our event as well. So just want to get your take on it.
Well, I think I came across Women in Business. I'm not sure whether it was Facebook or Instagram. And what attracted me, because I'm actually a member of a ladies' business network here in France, and we're actually quite serious. You know, where the colors are kind of orange and brown, and it's very serious. And I came across this brilliant, bright pink Women in Business, and I thought, oh wow, that's too pink. You know, that's very pink. And I don't know why. I just thought, oh well, is this going to be just about hairdos and nails? I mean, I'm sorry, that was the first thing I thought, you know. And then I just looked at the post, and I can't remember what the first post was that I read, and I thought, oh, that's what I need. That talks to me. So, and in fact, I got very used to the pink, and now I have like a pink, mouse. I've got a pink pad. I've got a pink pencil. So that was the first thing, and then I very quickly felt like a sisterhood. You see, I miss not being able to talk English with ladies on a daily basis, because here in France I talk French, and there's a different culture, and I felt like I'd come home. You know, I felt like I'd just come home when I joined the club. And everyone, it was so friendly, spontaneous, helpful, yeah, very supportive.
Literally, you're making me cry.
Ah!
It's just that feeling of obviously coming home, and I know you collaborated with quite a few ladies and supported
Yes,
each
yeah,
other,
yeah.
and found a accountability partner. So yeah, you fully embraced the journey, I believe.
Mm, mm.
So I want to ask you, what's next for Elaine?
Well, obviously, working full time, I've got lots of exciting projects and missions coming up with some big companies here in France. But for my sideline business, what I'd really like to do is to bring women in business to France.
Oh, very
Yes,
exciting.
yes, 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 yes.
Yes, we have been talking about this for a while, and we have had a lot of people actually reach out to us about doing event in France, and that'd be a really fantastic idea. And I hope we can find a time to do it, Elaine.
We'll need to set a date, maybe next spring. That would be good. Yeah.
Yeah, really, really exciting.
And on my side of the channel as well, I have people saying to me, "So when is Raimonda coming, Elaine?"
I gotta make it priority. I gotta be there. Well, Elaine, thank you so much for sharing your insights, your experience, really your wisdom with the ladies today. And if ladies wanted to actually follow up with you, what would be the best way to find you? And of course, we're going to include it in our podcast notes as well, but what's the best way for you to get in touch?
Well, on my LinkedIn profile, and if they're not on LinkedIn, on my Instagram account.
Yeah, fantastic. So ladies, all the notes will be included in the show notes, and you can follow Elaine and her journey and get in touch with her if you wanted any leadership or team coaching advice. She'll be there to help you. So Elaine, thank you so much. Really appreciate your time.
Thank you. It was a pleasure. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Take care, ladies. We look forward to seeing you again in the next podcast.